What is going on, Trash Talkers? We're back with another episode for you. In today's video, we're going to give you our playoff predictions for the NFL this season. All that and much more coming your way right now! Hey Trash Talkers, over 85% of you are still not subscribed to the channel. Please be sure to hit that red subscribe button and turn on notifications, as it will help us create more daily content for you. Thank you and enjoy today's video. All right, Nick, it's getting to be about that time where playoff teams are starting to separate themselves from the rest of the pack. We see a lot of teams really in the middle of both conferences fighting it out. A lot of football still left to play, but I figured this was a good time to really go after and see where we think that the conferences are going to end up. We obviously had our playoff predictions early on in the season. I want to take this time right now to be the last prediction, if you will, that we have for the playoffs. And I want to start off with the NFC, and it's going to go as follows. At number 7, we have the Minnesota Vikings just squeaking in. At number 6, we have the San Francisco 49ers. At number 5, we have the Los Angeles Rams. At number 4, the Dallas Cowboys. At number 3, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. At number 2, the Arizona Cardinals. And at number 1, we have the Green Bay Packers. Nick, out of this list, which team surprised you the most for being here?
Right now, the 49ers are an extremely impressive team. They were one of the worst teams in the NFC to start off the season, and out of nowhere, they've started to put it together. It's not only Deebo Samuel anymore. George Kittle's back, he looks healthy, he's playing well, and they need him. And then Brandon Ayuk, he's out of the doghouse for Kyle Shanahan, which means he's right back into the game script, and it's a perfect time. They don't have Deebo Samuel for the next couple weeks, but now we get to see how deep this team is, how well the chemistry is between Jimmy Garoppolo and Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle. Could Trey Lance be a utility weapon in the interim? Could he be their running back to replace Deebo Samuel? We got to see what Kyle Shanahan's up to. He's one of the best offensive minds. You don't count him out. And with their schedule, I think they could easily make it in here at number 6.
It's interesting that we have the 49ers, especially with Deebo Samuel, but I think that there's such a clear divide from the good teams in the NFC with the rest of the pack. I mean, you just take a look at what the NFC has to offer, and Atlanta, New Orleans, they've just been absolutely shaken by injury. Philadelphia made a run, but without Jalen Hurts right now, they're gonna struggle a little bit. Carolina, New York, Chicago, it's just getting worse and worse. So I think Minnesota and Washington is the only team that we see flipping here. So I like the Vikings over Washington. I think they're just a much better team, and Nick, I would assume that you would agree with that. But the one thing I want to talk about here is that we have the Packers at 1 and the Cardinals at 2, and I think that this deserves a little bit of addressing, because the Packers are the 2 seed right now with the Cardinals in clear control of the number 1 seed. They win, they keep the number 1 seed. But the Packers, when you take a look at their schedule, when you take a look at everything that they have done so far, they have battled through injuries, they have battled through COVID and COVID toe apparently. But right now, the Packers are an absolutely incredible team, and that's without Zadarius Smith. That's without Jair Alexander. That's without Elgton Jenkins or David Bakhtiari on the left side. These guys are coming back, except for Elgton Jenkins. I think right now that this Packers team is only getting healthier. They're only getting better. They are playing fundamentally sound football on the defensive side of the ball. They're playing complementary football with the running game and Aaron Jones. A.J. Dillon has gotten into the mix and really provided some relief so Aaron Jones doesn't have to be an every down back. The passing game obviously going through Devontae Adams, but Randall Cobb has been a very nice offset to him, and that has opened up Allen Lazard and Marquez Valdez-Scantling to be the wide receivers we expected them to be. And don't count out that tight end DeGuara. I think he's a really solid piece for them. overall, I trust the Packers a lot more than I do the Cardinals. The Cardinals' schedule is terrible moving forward. They still have to play very key teams, including the Rams, and I think that they're going to struggle toward the back end of the season. Even though they're getting healthier with D-Hop and Kyler coming back, I just see that the Packers have an easier way to getting the number 1 seed than the Cardinals do right now.
I agree with you. I think the Packers are the better team, and when you look at the schedules for both of these teams moving forward, it does look like the Packers, the way they're playing, is going to continue, and they should have an easier road to getting that number 1 seed. The Arizona Cardinals, even with Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins on the field, they haven't been spot on all year long like Green Bay has when they have Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. So I think that there could be more than just the Rams game that they drop this season moving forward, and that could be enough to knock them down. The Packers, who knows, maybe they go on a win streak and they end the season on a tear, but I think the Packers overall are the team most likely to be the number 1 seed.
All right, well, that's the NFC. Let's jump over and take a look at the AFC. And Nick, I want to start off again with number 7. We have the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers coming in over some quality teams, and we'll get to that in a bit. At number 6, we see the Buffalo Bills coming in. The Baltimore Ravens at 5, which means they did not win the AFC North, and I think we have something for that as well. At number 4, we see the Kansas City Chiefs winning their division, getting into the playoffs. Number 3, the Cincinnati Bengals. At number 2, the Tennessee Titans. And at number 1, the vaunted New England Patriots. Nick, which team here surprises you the most?
Yeah, as you said, the Cincinnati Bengals are the number 1 team coming out of the AFC North, and they are ahead of the Kansas City Chiefs, sitting here at number 3 in the playoff picture. The Cincinnati Bengals look incredible. They started out super hot, came back down to earth a little bit. Now they're right back on track. And when you look at the Baltimore Ravens, the way their season is playing out, the way their seasons have played out over the last few years under Lamar Jackson, they get figured out towards playoff time. They get figured out, and they don't know how to rebound. We saw Lamar Jackson get destroyed by a Miami defense that ran the same play 35 times. We just saw Lamar Jackson against the Cleveland Browns, who are awful, throw 4 interceptions and almost lose to Baker Mayfield and Nick Chubb, who are doing absolutely nothing right now. It's incredible how the Ravens cannot improve beyond the first half of the season. They are continuing to do the same thing over and over without making one single adjustment. It's going to be the same result this time. They won't have the luxury of being a top 4 team. They won't be the winner of their division. In fact, it's the Cincinnati Bengals, who have come from the dead, it seems, played at full strength almost all year, and they look the part. They are playing incredible ball. Zach Taylor's got these guys doing their job, and it's winning them games.
I mean, I just want to talk about the Baltimore Ravens a little bit, because they're the team that's falling here, and we see with their schedule, yeah, they have some very winnable games, but they have some tough games as well. We just saw what the Browns did to the Ravens. Well, next up, they have the Pittsburgh Steelers, and even though the Steelers have not looked the same, that is a very tough opponent when they know you as well as the Steelers and Ravens know each other. Then the Ravens go on the road to Cleveland 2 weeks after they just played them. 2 weeks. They get almost no reprieve. These teams are going to know each other very well. On top of that, then they host Green Bay. Then they go to Cincinnati. Then they host the Los Angeles Rams. That is a key 3-game streak that they're going to have, and I expect that they're going to drop all 3 of those games. I don't see them winning those. I see them winning the first 2, but not those 3. And then lastly, they host the Pittsburgh Steelers. Usually they split the series. I'm even giving them a win there, and that still drops them below the Cincinnati Bengals. I think that's a big key to take into account when you're taking a look at the AFC standings. I think that the Baltimore Ravens have a much tougher schedule on the back end, and that's going to lend itself to the Bengals overtaking them in the AFC North. But the team I want to talk about is the number 1 seed, and I know a lot of you are shaking your head and you're probably frivolously typing in the comments, how dare you put the Patriots at number 1? They haven't beaten anybody of substance, and whatever your troll minds want to say about the Patriots right now, the fact is This is the best team in the AFC, and there's not even a close second. The fact remains that the Buffalo Bills are going to play them the toughest that we have seen all season, and it's still not going to be that big of a matchup. With no Tre'Davious White on the defensive side of the ball for the Buffalo Bills, we're going to see Mac Jones and company really not have too much of a challenge with this defense. On the offensive side of the ball, we see the Patriots, who are just playing fundamentally sound football. They can run the football. A lot of the things I said about the Packers, the Patriots can do exactly the same. The wide receivers are coming in really solid. The tight ends have been able to provide a really big relief for Mac Jones and this offense. And on the defensive side of the ball, you're looking at arguably the best defense in the National Football League, led by Matthew Judon and JC Jackson. This defense is for real. They are holding opponents to under 13 points a game. It is absolutely phenomenal what they've been able to do all season long. I'm excited for this Patriots team, and I think they are clear-cut #1 potential.
Yeah, the New England Patriots are the clear-cut #1, and the Tennessee Titans are the closest second team, but we just saw the New England Patriots rout the Tennessee Titans, causing 4 turnovers in that game. I think that's all we need to know for now. The New England Patriots are the best team in the AFC.
Before we get out of here, Nick, I want to address one thing specifically here in the AFC. We see one team that a lot of people are scared of right now, a lot of people are high on, and that being the Indianapolis Colts not making the cut here. We see the Colts really just falling out of favor, and I want to go through the rest of their schedule before I hand it off to you. They're on the road at the Houston Texans. I think that's a win. Then they host the New England Patriots, both teams coming off of a bye. I believe that the Patriots take that one. Then the Colts hit the road, go to the Arizona Cardinals. I think they lose both of those games. The Raiders then come to Indianapolis. I think that's a win. And then the Colts go on the road to Jacksonville and win that game as well. At the end of the day, they're barely above 500, and that's what keeps them out of the playoffs. Is they're sitting at 6-6 right now at the time of recording, and they still have potentially 2 more games that they're going to drop, which is not going to be pretty for this team. Nick, the Indianapolis Colts obviously didn't make our predictions, but do you see any potential for them making the playoffs whatsoever?
There is a glimmer of hope, because the way the season is playing, it's up and down, and it seems like nothing is predictable. So what makes the future predictable? So there's always a chance for any of these teams that are not here in the top 7 on our list to definitely make it in. We're just going to have to take this week by week. We're going to have to take our time and truly figure out who the contenders are and who the pretenders are, because there is a clear divide. We just got to find it.
No, absolutely. And, you know, just like I said with the NFC, with the Minnesota Vikings, the Los Angeles Chargers have a pretty easy schedule to round out their season. I think that's going to be majorly beneficial for them. I know they haven't looked all that great so far, but I believe that Brandon Staley is going to allow them to put it together. They're going to finally get this offense going, both running and passing. The defense is going to start shutting people down. I like the Chargers over the Colts right now, even though the Colts are arguably the scariest team in the NFL right now. All right, well, I want to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments down below what you think of our playoff picture. Let us know what you think about our predictions and which teams did we get right, which teams did we get wrong. Let us know in the comments down below. All right, well, that's going to be all for now. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.